I don't like to be too speculative with my videos, but something I've been wondering about is what the next Pokemon game will be like. They already mentioned that Ultra Sun and Moon is going to be the last set of 3DS mainline games, and that a Pokemon game for the Switch is already in development. But other than that, there isn't any other information that's been released, officially anyways. Rather than trying to predict what the next game will be, this video will be more of a wish list of things I'd like Game Freak to bring into the series with the new game. With that being said, let's get started. More regional variants. I like the idea of regional variants of Pokemon in Sun and Moon. Some were quite funny, like Dugtrio with the flowing blonde hair, but some other Alola spec Pokemon like Vulpix, for example, looked really cool and interesting. There's only so many evolutions they can come up with, so having variations of other Pokemon sounds like a good idea to me. It makes both collecting and battles more interesting. And here's a bit of a left field idea. Imagine if they introduced regional variants of Ditto. That would allow you to breed different regional variants, which I think would be pretty cool. Multiple save games. There are occasions where I want to start a Pokemon game I've played before from the beginning again. The problem is that I would need to delete my old save game, and I can never bring myself to do that. It feels like erasing a record of an adventure I had. Having a separate save slot like most Zelda games do makes sense in my opinion. More post-game content. I very much like to play through the storyline, but usually once you're done with the main quest, there isn't as much to do. Pokemon Gold and Silver, as well as the remakes, handled that problem well by having 2 regions to play through. I don't think 2 regions are necessarily a must, but it's something that worked in the past and would work now. Perhaps having different tournaments to enter once you're done playing the main story would be another way to just have a bit more gameplay going on. A bigger sense of scale. Pokemon games are supposed to be adventures, and one of the things that can enhance that feeling is to have a world that appears large and full of possibilities. I think the recent Gen 7 games have kind of lost that. My theory is that Game Freak tried to make Alola feel dense by packing everything into small islands, but to me it comes across as cluttered and kind of claustrophobic. It's like you're playing on some sort of weird, small, themed playgrounds or something. Other regions like Kalos, for example, felt vast and large, and there was actual distance between towns and cities, as well as more variations in the environment. I'd like to see a return to that sort of world design. Additionally, having more paths that branch off the main routes would add an added element of exploration as well. The return of gyms. I'm not really a fan of the whole removal of the gyms in Pokemon Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon. The island trials that they had in those games feel more like uninteresting quests that I really don't want to do. Gym battles feel like you're in some sort of tournament, and it's, for me, much more exciting, so hopefully we'll see that returning. A better balance between graphics and performance. Something I've noticed is that Gen 6 and especially Gen 7 games had great graphics, but suffered from quite a few performance issues where frame rates dipped to lows I've not experienced since that one time I tried to run Skyrim on an old ATI Radeon 9600. The Gen 7 games look great in my opinion, so I would be happy if they just stuck with that look and translated it over to the Switch at a higher resolution and slightly nicer textures. And at the same time, it would be nice to see some improvements with the walking animations and facial expressions too. Keep Poke Rides. One of the most annoying aspects of most Pokemon games were HMs, at least in my opinion. I always tried to have HM slaves, but it's still annoying to have to waste 2 slots on Pokemon you'd rather not be carrying around. The Poke Ride feature in Gen 7 completely gets rid of all that HM nonsense, which is awesome, so I hope they keep that for future games as well. More character customization. I think it's really nice that we're able to change up the look of our player characters so much, especially with the Gen 7 games, but I think there's more that can be done. The obvious one would be more clothes and hairstyles, but I would like to see different head types or some sort of customizability with the characters built. And also, what I've seen with Pokken Tournament, there's some cool stuff you can do when it comes to making your avatar look unique, so maybe some of those ideas can be brought over as well. Have your Pokemon follow you. Not the first time we've seen this, of course, even though it adds nothing in terms of gameplay. I always liked the idea of being able to do that, like you could do in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Now that the graphics aren't 3D though, I'm not sure how some of the really big Pokemon are going to look if they follow you around, but still, I think some artistic liberties can be taken to maybe make them a little bit smaller and just make it doable anyways. A controllable camera. Something Pokemon games have been experimenting with ever since they became 3D is camera angles. While I don't have a problem with that idea at all, I would prefer if we were given actual control of the camera. In the Gen 7 games, the camera occasionally swings around, which means north isn't always up, and it's often zoomed in too much, making it difficult to see what's ahead when you're walking around. So even just a little bit of control, just being able to swivel it around would be nice. Co-op multiplayer. How cool would it be to have the ability to play together with a friend? I think that would make exploring a ton of fun, and imagine being able to both fight together against other trainers and wild Pokemon. I'm not sure how certain things would be handled, like who gets to keep a captured Pokemon, or maybe we both get it? I think it's unlikely that something like this would be added, but I can still dream, right? Anyways, these are just a few ideas I've come up with. Let me know in the comments what you guys would like to see in the upcoming Gen 8 games. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I post content on a few different sites. Follow me on Twitter for updates, and consider checking out the Patreon page if you want to support the channel. You get some cool rewards for supporting the channel, like a Patreon exclusive newsfeed and early access to a lot of the videos. And if you're looking to get yourselves Geek and Gamer t-shirts, check out T-Blocks. They are a t-shirt subscription service that's fully licensed. If you use the code in the description, you can get 10% off your order. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.